Let's talk about Santa, who recently did an interview with Jay Shetty for his podcast, which is called oh my god, what is the podcast called? On Purpose with Jay Shetty. Watched his videos in the past because he always does like these videos where he dives deep into like people's spirituality and why they do what they do. And one of the things that I've noticed over the years is like I remember when Madonna first started getting into Kabbalah and with Ray of Light and that whole the spiritualness that she would incorporate into her music, because when you listen to um Ray of Light, it's very euphoric. There's a lot of spirituality in the lyrics, and a lot of the way she sings, and a lot of and I've always been one of those people that have been relatively inquisitive. Like I've always asked questions in regards of, when it comes to why are we here? What is my purpose? I'm still trying to find. I think my purpose is to like spread joy and give them and be the messenger. Hence why I think it was intentional. The universe probably spoke to my mother to name me Chris, because Saint Christopher is he was the messenger. So me always delivering the message, I feel like is kind of like my purpose in this world is to spread, messages and things of what's going on in the world. So I figured out a bit of it, but it's got to be more to what my purpose is in this world. And I'm sure there's got to be other people that have had these questions that they've wanted to ask of themselves. It's like, why am I here? What is my purpose? What was I put on this earth to do? You can't just be thinking, oh, I was just here to just be coasted in life. Because I'm like, that's what you think that you're here for? Then I just think that you just need to rethink your priorities and things. But so she spoke out about a lot of things and basically talked about how her spiritual practices, her studying a form of Judeo mysticism, because she's not, into the religion, that sort of thing. She's practiced more of a spiritual life path. And that's kind of how I am too. Like as somebody who, like her, grew up Roman Catholic, I don't practice that religion. I've taken more of a spiritual path because I feel like you can become more in tuned with the light and the energy of the world because I've always noticed that when I manifest and I channel and into that light and I bring things up, that all of a sudden it happens. Like I could be thinking about somebody and literally the next day they'll call, or I could have and like I just kind of feed off of people's energy. So I definitely get into that. And then also, first of all, before we get into the stuff she said, Madonna, bitch, you look good. I could not stop looking at her. I was like, she looks good. She looks youthful, money well spent on, all of this. The mug snatched, the body snatched for the gods. So Madonna was looking good. Don't mess that face up. Mm-mm. So whoever your doctor is, oh, I give him a raise. But I mean, that's no shade. I'm just saying because she's 67 years old, and you already know, like, she has to find ways. Y'all always want to talk about, oh, people need to age gracefully. Mm-mm. Because the minute they try to age gracefully, here y'all come with the ageism comments. Oh, drop dead grandma and all that other mess that y'all be out here saying. So yeah, she looked good. The lighting made her. I ain't gonna say it was the lighting because I was watching the face. I was watching everything, and she looks like herself. So I guess that routine that they was mentioning in the gossip blogs definitely was working. So now that we can get all the vanity stuff out of the way, she basically was saying like you need to be spiritual to be successful. Success is having a spiritual life, period. She said, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have one. Now, the pop icon also explained that her journey began in the 90s, the mid 90s to be specific, shortly after she gave birth to Lourdes, her first child, and then basically said that her discovery of Kabbalah in 96 became a turning point in her life, saying, what have I done for others? That's really the only way you could be successful in life, stressing that her purpose has always been to reveal light in the world through her work, saying, I want it all, but I want it for the sake of sharing, not to keep it for myself. And I do remember that when she was starting on the early part of her career, she did say that she focused so much on wanting to be somebody because she grew up dirt poor. Her growing up Roman Catholic, she would ask her father questions. He was like, "Oh, that's because that's what it is," and kind of being like trying to shut her down immediately. And I'm just sitting there like, I want to I've always been somebody that's been relatively inquisitive, which I know irritated the hell out of my parents. So I think also that was another thing that gravitated me towards Madonna a lot when I was growing up, is because she was always somebody out here who was not only pushing the envelope, but she was also questioning society and the world on why things are this way. And they don't have to necessarily be the way society, oh, because it just is. I cannot stand when people say that, because then I'm like, okay, now I got to go and figure out why it's like that. Why is the sky blue? Why does this ornament look the way it looked? Why did they design that the way they designed it? Why did you make this choice when you were doing this, 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 and this? And then she also said something that which I could definitely relate to, where she was like, I was once a slave or victim of other people's opinions of me. But over time, she embraced her individuality and that she doesn't fit in. She said, not fitting in is what saves you. And I totally agree with that, because there was one, a person. That person would be me, by the way. Once upon a time in life, I always try to find ways to be like, I need to fit in with this one, I need to fit in with that one. But I've come to learn, and I think it comes with, I won't say that it necessarily equates it with queerness, or maybe it does. I don't know. But I mean, queer does mean unusual and unique, right? So I've always felt being different and being unique is a superpower. So I lean more into that. And when you lean into that, that's where you will find your own tribe instead of you trying to create your own tribe. Because all through my life, I was a floater. Like, I floated around in different groups and all other stuff, but I always gravitated towards the misfits and the punks and the goth kids and the people that were unique and different and stood in that. And when I started hanging out with those people, that was when I kind of felt like I had found a sense of who I was and my sense of purpose in the world. And when it takes a while for people to find that, but I didn't find that tribe until I was in my 20s. Like, when I was in school, I did what I had to do to fit in. But as I got older, it was just like I just didn't give a shit no more. I had that, a little bit of that insecurity in the back of my mind, but it's like you have to learn to work through that. But she also went on to say spiritual wisdom is not helpful when everything is going your way. It's helpful when you're challenged and when you're happy. It's helpful to remember that at any given time, at any moment, it could be gone. So don't take it for granted. Have humility. Radical acceptance is just accepting what that is happen that what is happening to you is meant to happen to you, and that you're going to be okay. And I totally agree with that, because I've always felt like whenever bad things happen to me, I always felt like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I just want to die. Like, you know how we get all dramatic. But then you come to the realization that, you know what, everything, I don't know where this came from, but it was just like a mantra of like, everything that happens to you happens for a reason. And it's like people come into your life, when be it a relationship, friendship, whatever the case is, a job, when you lose your job, it was like you were so unhappy at this job. And then when they fired you, you were depressed and sad, because it was like, well, now I'm not going to have any money. And that's why they invented unemployment. Thank God for, um, with the fact that we can have like unemployment and things of that nature, because then that helps you get yourself on your feet until you find a new job. And you were unhappy because you lost that job, but then that was the universe doing you a favor because you weren't happy there and you wouldn't have had the balls to quit. So the universe turned it out in a way that it was like, oh, you got to get fired because you don't have the wherewithal to walk away from this job and be like, you're not happy there. So the universe had to force this situation to happen. That's the way I look at it in regards of what happens to you happen in that situation. And then I do believe that when things happen, if you don't understand that thing that happened, the same thing will continue to happen until you understand why this is happening, until you've taken that in and be like, you know what, there's a reason why this happened, and you learn the lesson. So I do think that life is a series of lessons that we're put on this earth to learn. So when she was explaining all this, I'm like, I've always kind of looked at the world in that way, like in a very philosophical and spiritual type of way, which is why I think in so many ways, one of my all-time favorite movies is The Matrix, because The Matrix kind of, not kind of, it actually does. It takes on a lot of these different things. It talks about philosophy. It talks about consequences, cause and effects, a lot of the different things of like the energy you put out, you get back, and that sort of thing. So I wholeheartedly agreed with her a lot of what she was saying. And then after she did her in her bit, she did bring out her Kabbalah teacher, Aitan Yardini, who I remember she's been with since the beginning. And they have a course called The Mystical Studies of the Zohar. So it's funny how she said, I wasn't on here to promote something. But sis, you were. I mean, you were on there promoting this thing that you have where you're the mystical studies of the Zohar, which is like all the things that I've learned that has helped me better myself as a human being in life. You are doing it for a selfless reason. You're trying to pass these teachings down to people who want to actually get in touch, water their spiritual garden or get in touch with their light or their spiritual center without having to take drugs, whatever the case is. Is like you want to reach that light in on your own rather than having to take supplements in order to get there. So there was that. Then let's get into the deeper stuff. So it was cute that she got all of, she started talking about all, her spiritual side or whatever. But some of the revelations that she was revealing, and particularly where she rarely talks about her relationship with her ex-husband, Guy Ritchie, and the hell she went through trying to get custody of Rocco. Because I remember at one point it did get messy between her and Rocco. She was on tour. I can't remember which tour. Was it was it the reinvention tour? It might have been. Because I don't think she mentioned it. But there was a situation where Rocco, I guess, did not like the lifestyle that his mother was living, having to constantly be traveling around from city to city, country to country, while she toured the world to make money for you to live the lifestyle that you were accustomed to. And it caused a rift between them, and he was being rebellious, and he wanted to live with his father, and it became an ugly custody situation. And she said that she contemplated taking her own life, which I gagged over. So the seven-time Grammy winner recalls sobbing every night amid her months-long custody battle over her son Rocco, saying, quote, one of the most painful moments in my life where I honestly couldn't see the forest through the trees was when I went through a custody battle with my son. This is what Madonna, who's 67, told the podcaster, Jay Shetty, who is 38, by the way. She added, and even though my marriage didn't work out, I mean, a lot of people's marriages don't work out. They marry the wrong people. They're not aligned. They're not meant for each other. Well, at the time, I think she meant they were meant for each other. But then again, I'm starting to think that maybe Madonna married um, Guy because it was that thing that she was talking about, trying to fit in. She realized that she's an outsider. Guy was someone who was very much trying to be this whole prim and proper, very British, very posh. And she's like, I'm not Victoria Beckham. I'm Susie Sue. Like I'm a little more rebellious. I'm not, Miss Demure and mindful. Madonna's always been a rebel in a lot of ways. She's always kind of gone against the grain. At one point, yeah, she tried to be all, I'm very posh and very British, even though she was born in Michigan and lived in New York for a bit, but all of a sudden she British, and we was all side eyeing her during that point. So we always felt like Madonna wasn't truly being herself. And I think once she realizes, like, I don't want to live that life no more. I don't want to try to be this demure and mindful wife that you want me to be, because it's like you almost want me, who's the biggest pop star of the planet, on the planet, to give up this whole thing while you go off and make your little movies. And she's like, oh no, as long as I got stuff going through this body, as long as I got fire in these veins and blood through this body, I'm not giving up what I love to do. I'm not giving up my, being creative and turning off that light that's channeling through me to give y'all the stuff. And that's another thing that I liked about what she said too, is the fact that a lot of people sit up here and try to own their creativity. And it's like, no, it's not mine. I'm just the vessel. I'm channeling what the universe is sending down to me, and I'm basically, and it might get a little graphic, I'm vomiting it into the world for the masses to consume. So this is what the universe is putting down to me. Like I always feel like when the universe is like the light coming down into the top of the head, and it just comes out this way. So it comes out through the music, comes out through the writing, it comes out in all these other ways. And I do believe that that's the creative aspect of who we are. That when I say the things that I say, when I do the things that I do, when I create the things I create, it's not mine. It is the universe coming to me, giving me these ideas and putting it out there. And if I don't receive it, if I'm not going to be the one to put it out there, I believe the universe sends it to somebody else who does it. I do feel like that we are a bunch of radios who are turning the dial. And that frequency that's going through, I know this, this may be crazy to sound. I don't know if y'all agree. And it's fine if you don't. And I do feel like we're all a bunch of radios that are that are tuning into like certain frequencies, and we're just putting out, we're just receiving what that is and just passing the energy to the next person. I think we're all just like a bunch of energy existing amongst each other. So I truly believe in a lot of that. But then she to continue, she also wanted to say, she says, someone trying to take my child away from me was like, they might as well just kill me. That's really how I was thinking. Now, at the time, Madonna was on tour, which was even more challenging. She said, I had to go on stage every night. I would just be lying on the floor in my dressing room sobbing. I really thought it was like it was the end of the world. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. So, and I also think that a lot of this, she said that this was, I think, a trigger for her because it took her back to a moment when she lost her mother at 5 years old. And the fact that now you have someone coming in trying to take a man trying to take her child from her, like someone who I pushed out of my body, that I created life with. You're trying to take my son away from me. Oh no, we're gonna have to go to war. So, and they did. So, beginning in December of 2015, Madonna and Richie, who's 57, were involved in a transatlantic custody squabble for 8 months over their then 15-year-old son, Rocco, who quit traveling with his mom. Okay, it was the Rebel Heart Tour, to live with his father in the UK. The former couple, who were married from 2000 to 2008, settled their legal battle in June of 2016, and there was no appearance in court regarding the matter, according to New York Supreme Court documents. Per the Associated Press, Richie's lawyer, Peter Braunstein, gave a statement outside the court that Rocco, then 16, would continue to live in London. Madonna's attorney declined to comment at the time. And if you ever heard Rocco talk, he definitely sounds like his father when he's got a British accent. But I think it's because he's moved around so much. The accent kind of it's probably like the Osbournes, where the Kelly and the brother Jack. They, they'll say little things, or like what's his child? I don't know why I won't bring them up. The Tate brothers, when they sound American, but then you'll hear when they say little, they say little. So you hear the accent come out a little bit. So now they said in December. Oh, wait, I think I read that already. In December 2015, a judge ordered that Richie return Rocco to Madonna in New York. However, Rocco continued to live in England. In March of 2016, a New York judge ruled that Rocco would stay in the UK with his father and attend school while urging his parents to settle their battle out of court. By June, the custody battle appeared to come to a close as court documents listed the case as motion pending. Now, Madonna does have 6 children. Lourdes, who's 28, Rocco, who's 25, David, who's 20, Mercy, who's 19, and then we have Stella and Esther, who's 13. And one of the things she also said that I was like, oh my God, that is absolutely true. When she was talking about having children, she said it's not about trying to control them. You're literally a manager. And she's absolutely right. Kids are their own individual selves. You got to let them be who they are and figure out who they are and be their own person. But all you are is just the manager. You are navigating, making sure that you get them from point A to point B without them ending up in the damn ICU. So there was that. Now, speaking of the ICU, Madonna also talked about being, yeah, that was not that transition. I'll tell you, it's the universe popping in my brain. That was a good transition. Thank you, universe. But anyway, so speaking of ICU, Madonna talked about her time in the ICU and how it came to the point of her patching things up with her brother, Christopher, who she was not in the best terms relationship wise, for years. So Madonna is approaching her first anniversary of the death of her young brother, Christopher Ciccone, well, younger, who died this past October at the age of 63. Now, at times, the singer's relationship with her siblings or sibling was tumultuous, leading to periods during which they rarely spoke. And, he did write a book called My Sister Madonna, which I think played a part in that. But in the beginning of her career, Christopher was very much working behind the scenes, helping her out. I think he was like a creative director and helped her out in a lot of stuff in the beginning of her career. Now, during her first podcast appearance on Jay Shetty's On Purpose, Madonna details a spiritual encounter she had while in a medically induced coma during her 4-day hospitalization in the ICU in June of 2023 for a serious bacterial infection that led to her reconnecting with Chaconi. She said it was like sepsis, which was like that's what Billy Porter had. Sidebar, do y'all have y'all heard from Billy Porter? Like what's going on with him? Because I remember sorry, talking this long about Madonna. I need some water. But they said he had like some serious sepsis type situation. I hope he's okay because we don't want to lose Billy Porter just yet. But anyway, so she said, I was almost there on the other side and I had a conscious moment, and my mother appeared to me and she said, do you want to come with me? And I said, no. She said, my assistant was in the room with me, but I was still unconscious and she heard me say no. And then when I did eventually wake up, I realized that the no was about me needing to forgive and make good with people that I still held grudges against. She also revealed that a lot of that feeling basically caused her to write 2 songs that are going to be on the new album, by the way. So she says that the song that she wrote was called Fragile and Forgive Yourself. So Fragile was of course about her fragile relationship with her brother, and then Forgive Herself is like forgive yourself is like, I guess, even at the end of the day, if you try to get forgiveness from that person and they don't want to forgive you, then that's fine. But you have to come to the terms in your situation where it's like, I have to forgive me. I have to release that negative energy and let it go. And I've come to that point in my life where I've tried to not hold on to negative energy when it comes to people. Like there'll be moments in my life where it's like, yeah, I want revenge. I'm vengeful. I want to just destroy that person that hurt me so bad. But I need to go through that pain because that's a natural feeling. And once I've gone through those grieving moments, because I do feel like we grieve in so many different ways, whether it's a person that died or just a regular situation. You could mourn a friend that y'all broken up, or a relationship because you broke up. Like it's not necessarily that the person has to die for you to like mourn them, but you can mourn friendships, you can mourn relationships, you can mourn all those different things. Once you go through those periods, then it's like, okay, I moved on. Like I had a bad situation with some people, I moved on from it. No hard feelings. I'm not holding on to that energy because it gives you crow's feet. You be looking old as hell. I'm not trying to be out here looking like um what the hell that man? Stephen Miller, who and that other one that looked like Jigsaw. What's her name? Laura Luma. I ain't trying to be out here looking like them old buckets where y'all literally look like the trolls under the bridge. And because y'all got so much anger and hate and animosity just eating away at you, that shit ages you. I'm trying to to hold on to my youth visually as long as I possibly can before I start looking like the keeper. Be reading myself. But it's like, look, I try to let all that go. So I don't hold on to that energy for long. Like I know it's like we're human, we're natural human being, whatever. We need to go through those moments, but I try not to hold on to it. But I'm definitely looking forward to hearing them songs. And she said that the song centered around the idea of accountability and responsibility, saying we have to forgive others, but we also have to forgive ourselves and stop beating up on ourselves about things, choices we made in the past that haven't worked out for ourselves or other people. Which like I was saying, I agree with that. Now, for a while, Madonna added she pushed off forgiving with Ciccone because she assumed she'd have more time to do so. Saying your ego dances around it like, yeah, 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 I'll get to it. I'll get to calling him up or talking to him or being his best friend or helping him. But eventually, I did. And I know I'm being mysterious. If someone you love deeply betrays you and does something that shows that they have no consciousness in that moment that they made that choice to do that, it's a bitter pill for me to swallow. For my brother, I didn't speak to him for years, years, and years. It was him being ill and reaching out to me and saying, I need your help. And me having that moment like, am I going to help my enemy? That's how it felt. And I just did. I felt so relieved. It was such a load off my back, such a weight that was removed, baggage that I could put down to finally be able to be in a room with him and holding his hand, even if he was dying and saying, I love you and I forgive you. So it's like, yeah, a lot of times we definitely think that we have a lot of time with the people that have done us dirty or people who we love. And it's like, we're all on borrowed time. We don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow's not promised. Like, literally, I kid you not, I worked an event on Saturday, did a double shift. I told y'all about that. one of my and it was oh my god, who was it? The I always forget his damn name. Nate Bargatze, that's what it was, because it was him. His father opened the show, who was hilarious. Then we had Jimmy Fallon came out and then did a set. And then so I had to see Jimmy Fallon for 3 shows. And then Nate came out and did his set. And I had a coworker who, you know, I'd spoken to every now and again or whatever, was an older guy, wasn't feeling well, had to be rushed to the hospital. Kind of found out he passed away on the way to the, in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. So you never, and his wife also worked at the job too. So um, just you never know how long you have with people. So um, this is the time, and I don't even want to try to get morbid or even think about death, but sometimes it does creep in the mind, and these are things that are inevitable that we're just going to have to deal with because we're all going to bite the dust one of these days. I don't want to think about it now, but we all going to die apparently because we ain't gonna be we ain't fame, we ain't here forever. So yeah, just like even those people's like if you can find a way to just even if they don't want nothing to do with you, once you make peace with okay, I've forgiven them, I moved on, have a nice life, have a nice death, goodbye, in the words of Oda Mae Brown to Sam Wheat, um, and Demi Moore, because that's what she said it to. Um, we have to just learn to forgive ourselves and not hold on to that energy because it'll eat you up. So, yeah, that was some of the many things she talked about. So, I don't know if you have a chance, definitely get around to checking out the interview because it was definitely enlightening. It was very informative. And I got my spiritual life watch. I'm going to watch it again sometime this week once I get through all the other things I got to watch. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Did you check out the Madonna interview? I'm definitely looking forward to more interviews from her. Hopefully, she will be doing a lot more podcast interviews in the future. A lot of long form interviews with people who definitely will go and do deep dives into her music career, 4 decades worth, as well as let's get a full breakdown of this upcoming album. Like I don't want to see her doing the Jimmy Fallons and the 5 minute interviews on network corporate television. Like I want a real Madonna deep dive music interview where we get into her musical journey and where she is today and all that other stuff. So, and shit, I would shit a brick if I ever got that opportunity, but I'd be up for it. Because as a fan, I definitely go in and let her have with the deep dives. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.